Okay, so we are all welcome back. My name is Legendary Boss 247, and in this video, we will be dissecting a jumpsuit. Now, for those of us who don't know what a jumpsuit look like, it is something like this, right? I'm going to paste this on the group so you're going to see it clearly. So this is a jumpsuit made by my student, and it has the crossed neckline, right? This is made by Doro. You can see a student of mine. These are first jumpsuit practicals after the jumpsuit class, right? So we want to be talking about a jumpsuit, and as we all know, a jumpsuit is simply a combination of a basic top. A basic top. Let's just use this to represent our basic top. A jumpsuit is simply a combination of a basic top and a trouser, right? A combination of a basic top and a trouser, right? For most of us, we already know how to make the basic top. In my video also, I've shown you how to make a trouser, but I just simply want to point out the key difference between the trouser you want to use as a jumpsuit and a regular trouser, right? Now, in the jumpsuit video, I showed us how to take our measurements for jumpsuits, right? And I mentioned shoulder to hip instead of waist to hip. I mentioned shoulder to crotch depth instead of your normal crotch depth, then shoulder to knee, and of course the full length of our jumpsuit. So let's assume we have this measurement and we want to make a jumpsuit for this person. Our shoulder to hip is 26. Our shoulder to crotch is 30 for a jumpsuit loose, right? Shoulder to knee 41 inches, please. All these are in inches, please. Then the full length of the jumpsuit, I want it to be 60. Now let me assume that the half length of this person is 18 inches. 18, right? So what do? We simply do our derivation here for the trouser. Watch the measurements. We have shoulder to hip 26, but first of all, we have a half length that is from the shoulder to the waist here as 18. So how do you get the waist to hip for your trouser? You know, you're going to cut the top differently. That is for trouser, for jumpsuits with joint. We're going to cut our top, cut our trouser, and join it at the end of the day, just like what she did here, right? We have a top and a trouser joined together, right, for this jumpsuit here. So we have a half length of 18, whereas we have a shoulder to hip. That is shoulder to hip. Let this be the hip line. Shoulder to hip, we have it as 26. Shoulder to crotch depth, we have it as 30. And then the shoulder to knee, we have it as 41. And then the full length as 61. Now, to get your waist to hip and waist to knee for the trouser, it's just simple subtraction. Now, if the shoulder to hip is 26 and 18 inches will go away for the half length, 18 inches off for the half length, to get your waist to hip for the trouser is simply 26 minus 18. And if we do that correctly, 26 minus 18 will give us 8 inches here. That is the waist to hip for the trouser when you want to draft your trouser for the jumpsuit. This is not a regular trouser. This is a trouser we want to use for a jumpsuit, right? The same thing happens to your crotch depth for the trouser you want to use as a jumpsuit. Remember, we have a shoulder to crotch depth as 30. What do? Simply 30 minus your half length, which is 18. That will give us waist to crotch of 12 inches. By the time you join 12 to 18, you get your 30. The same thing, we got a shoulder to knee as 41. 41 minus your 18 will give you your waist to knee for the trouser part, right? So 41 minus 18 gives us 23, right? so that when you add your 23 to your 18, you get your 41. The same thing happens to the full length. How do you know the full length of your trouser that you want to use for the jumpsuit? Simply the full length of the jumpsuit minus your half length, right? So we have in this case 61, right? 61 minus 18 gives us 43. So that will be the length of our trouser, right? So with this derived measurement now, we can now go ahead to draft our trouser for the jumpsuit. Of course, you know that you should measure your round hip, you should measure your round thigh, your round knee, your round ankle, and all of those other measurements, right? This does not stop you from taking those measurements, so you need to take that, right? So this is what you need to know before you draft your trouser for jumpsuit. Thanks for watching. In the next video, we'll be drafting the trousers for jumpsuit. Thanks for watching. My name is Legendary.